What you got? All right. Like I said, he's on the next level. You know what? You can't hear it now because I have it turned down. I can't win. Okay. Alright, so we got Narc dying to a monster like Turok. Like I've said a million times, but this time people can hear me.
Whoa!
He just one punched the man, that thing?
Oh, hey, thanks, man. Do you want a group hug?
Good one, kid. I got dailies to do. I ain't got time to socialise.
Isn't that what it was? Like when you were the high level guy in the low level zone, you'd kill a bunch of shit and just walk off. Like, can you help me? Nah, man, I'm over here grinding for a rare flower. You go over there and die to yourself.
Hey, what up, boys? Leveling will always be a mandatory part of an MMO. In fact, I rather enjoy the leveling process, as it allows me to explore the world without the worry of
Pepsi
that
Max
dreaded
Cherry and eat pieces.
Meta mentality.
Whoa.
As the MMO player base have matured, or devolved is probably a more accurate description, leveling is always treated like a speed run to reach the actual content.
Amen.
However, it wasn't always like this. You see,
man, he's so right. He is so right. I enjoy the leveling process so much, but in some games like WoW, or and not so much in New World, but New World was more of like peer pressure from my friends. I always feel that like external pressure to fucking rush to the end game because that's where everybody wants to be. And so this will be my first MMO as long as it comes out. This will be my first MMO trying to create content for it, and I feel like I might lose some oomph, some followers or what have you if I don't rush to the end game. So I'm excited to see what he's got to say about enjoying the leveling process because I love it.
Day when MMOs weren't just mere flesh puppets for our corporate overlords, leveling was a major part of the gameplay experience where players were kind of forced to learn the mechanics, the lore, and the social requirements to prepare themselves for the dangers that await them at endgame. A meaningful, complete journey, one might describe it as. But
do you remember when you could die leveling?
WoW showed us it's not so much the game design that changed, it's more the mentality of players. And I'd like to discuss this with you all today, but before we get into that, grab yourself a Coca-Cola because we are once again going to waste the next 10 minutes talking about theoretical systems for an MMO that doesn't even exist and compare it to a bygone era that died 15 years ago.
I feel so attacked. Like, I'm making role-playing characters and creating characters and names and fleshing out backstories for a game that it might not fucking matter. The game might not even launch. Alright, I'm here. I got my Coca-Cola, Narc. Let's do this, buddy.
Now, with all that bollocks out of the way, let's begin, shall we?
The leveling experience.
So I think some of my most vivid and fondest memories were that initial leveling experience in World of Warcraft.
Amen.
Yes, I ended up playing the most generic class race combination possible, choosing to be a night elf hunter, but I think at the end of the day, we all have a little bit of night elf hunter in us all. Teldrassil, the starting zone of the night elves, is by far the most magical place to start your journey in an online world. The trees and the mobs and the unique style of night elf architecture really made an everlasting impact on my teenage years. I can almost remember the level 1 to 20 journey step for step from 17 years ago, and I value them nostalgic memories more than any other nostalgic memories that I have. It's these powerful nostalgic memories that probably keep people coming back to the sad corpse that WoW has become. But just end up
so dramatic. I love it. I don't understand how he's only got 7,400 views, but Asmongold's gonna react to this and have a couple 100,000 views. This dude is next level. I love how dramatic he is.
Failing to connect to the world again, as iconic places like Teldrassil have been burnt to a crisp for a cheap attempt at pulling our heartstrings, the evocative expanse of the Barrens have been torn asunder to make way for typical Blizzard asset reuse, masked by the buzzword revamp. And the characters we loved so dearly have slowly been fizzled out. No, seriously, they literally fizzled them out without even concluding their story.
Ooh, face
Modern
bombs
WoW's
all
leveling
around.
and endgame experience is so far from what I look for in an MMO that it barely even holds any qualifications to garner the title MMORPG anymore. So then, what do I like?
You don't roleplay anymore.
It's a touchy subject because the MMO player base are so viciously opinionated these days.
Oh my god,
it's
right?
Almost like they feel entitled or something.
Ooh. Let's stop on the zoom in of his disappointed look. I feel like he's just disappointed with everybody on the internet. And I feel it. Like, I don't know about you, but, you know, my opinion of, like, enjoying the leveling process and role-playing and, like, digging into professions and things like that are, like, a lot of fucking fun. But, like, all my friends are like, dude, I'll worry about that later. I want to be on the list of the first 100 people to get max level. Or, oh, look at me, my gear school's 5 points higher than the closest person and I'm on the top 20 list. And, oh, if you're not at the end game, what are you even fucking doing? The game doesn't start until you're at the end game and blah, 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 blah. And, like, all this pressure from friends and, general MMORPG community is like, get to the end game, and they like, their opinions are like, oh, you're not an orc, you're not even on the horde, or not even just picking on WoW, but like other games. Like, we are entitled video gamers who not even 30 years ago were excited for Pong and Pac-Man, and we lost our shit when we could play video games online. Then we lost our shit when WoW first came out, and now it's not enough because, you know, like, we're spoiled in the video game community, and we just don't give a damn.
I believe my opinions on this matter are certainly not going to be shared by the masses, but that wouldn't be the first time, would it? So I will grace you all with another one of my hot takes, and I encourage you all to do the same in the description below. To me, leveling should never be designed as a generic speedrun to max level in order to get to
the first time you saw the cinematic?
Leveling should be about exploration, social interaction, and filling you with a sense of wonder. What's over there? What's in this cave?
The bear.
Are those creatures over there gonna fuck me in the ass if I go near? You see, in all of our currently popular MMOs, we don't really get immersed in the journey anymore. It's all about...
I'm gonna rewind it a little bit because I was reminiscing over top of Narc.
What's in this cave? Are those creatures over there gonna fuck me in the ass if I go near?
Whoa!
You see, in all of our currently popular MMOs, we don't really get immersed in the journey anymore. It's all about bypassing the actual leveling side of progression and beginning the grind where it really matters. The gear grind at max level. New World, Lost Ark, and World of Warcraft are perfect examples of this in the modern era, and it's such a shame because MMOs are mostly about the world. The main character of an MMO, it isn't us. It isn't Sylvanas or the Elder Dragons or whatever generic garbage modern MMOs throw in our face to give us a false sense of connection. The main character is the actual world itself.
That is a great perspective and a great way to put it. I've thought that to an extent, but I've never been able to put it into an intelligible form such as that. You know, when I talk about it a couple times in the character creation videos, like when I make my character and the story of it, I try to keep in mind that I'm not the main character of the world. This isn't me playing a game on the PlayStation. This is me being part of a living and breathing world, supposedly, and I just want to interact with it in a grand way. And him stating that you're not the main character. You're not the main character, you are just the world is the main character is such a good fucking way to put it. This dude is wild. I love it. Oh, what up, Wizzy McNasty? Oh my god, my YouTube recording just got 10 times better because I got to say the name Wizzy McNasty out loud. How long have you been following Ashes? So I discovered Ashes a couple years ago, and on or off, right? But I didn't seriously start following them and all the content until honestly like 2 weeks ago. And it was driven by the class table, you know, with the 64 archetypes. And I'm a huge RP guy, so like I play a shitload. of tabletop, or I used to before kids. So like I started making characters like RP style, like roleplay style, tabletop style, for all those classes on there and coming up with backstories. So I've actually been following as like a dedicated fan for about 2 weeks. I've been aware of and have checked in on it for the last, I want to say, year or so.
Tyria, Tamriel, and Hildendeln. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce that name. I just don't give a fuck about Final Fantasy XIV. This one...
This dude is on the next level.
was one of the main reasons why New World was such a flop. Instead of designing a diverse and interesting world, they just created 4 somewhat okay zones with 3 generic points of interest.
Thanks, Wizzy, man. I appreciate
it to increase
I've just started
landmass.
creating content for it. Like I said, it's nothing super Ashes of Creation in depth. It is just me making. Yo, dude, Narc is wild. And I was just saying, can you believe it? I know it's only been up for like 17 or 18 hours, this new video, but it's only got 7,500 views. You know, Asmongold is going to do essentially what I'm doing right now, and it's going to get hundreds of 500,000 views or some crazy shit. But yeah, man, I'm excited to be part of the community. So far, everybody I've interacted with has been really fun. I've had a couple people jump in chat. They told me about a cool podcast to listen to called like the Golden Feather or something. So I'm gonna try to listen to that. So I'm excited to be part of the community.
The 3 endgame zones were unique and diverse, don't get me wrong, but the leveling experience was some of the most boring, copy-pasted bullshit I've ever experienced. It's the leveling process itself that causes massive amounts of drop-off at the launch of an MMO. When the leveling itself doesn't capture you immediately like it did back in the golden age of WoW, then of course people will be leaving in droves.
Okay, I see what he's saying, but I had a lot of fun leveling like the first 10 or so levels in New World because the weapons were different enough and like the use of weapons was different enough. Using a musket was a lot of fun for me. Like things like that were different enough. It kept me engaged for like the first 10 levels of leveling. However, once I got past that, I feel like a lot of the things that he has brought up were true.
Who on earth is going to spend their precious free time pushing through a boring walking simulator with generic kill and collect quests? Oh, you are? Well, obviously I'm talking about functional members of society here.
Oh god, just coming in with the haymakers left and right. I love it. Okay, so the Golden Feather is a Ashes of Creation podcast. Yeah, I want to check them out. Try to get more involved in the community, especially if I want to actually try to create some sort of content coming up, right?
What causes an MMO's initial progression and exploration to be considered a hindrance? A major inconvenience just so people can get to the actual content of grinding the same generic trash mobs to watch a number go up on their character sheet. Well, it's all about that dreaded
meta mentality.
So let's discuss that next. Up on their character sheet. Well, it's all about that dreaded
meta mentality.
So let's discuss that next.
Mentality.
Thinking about going solar?
Before
you do, see what others paid for 3 to 10 kilowatt systems.
Oh, he said the meta mentality. What if I just had patience and waited 30 seconds?
As Classic WoW recently
every Friday night at 6 or
I don't
7.
think the problem
awesome.
lies in how the worlds are designed. I think the problem lies with us, the players. However, Classic WoW is certainly a unique one, as it's a game a lot of us have already experienced in the past, and I'll touch on this further in a moment. The point is, we're all so desperate to consume content as fast as possible nowadays that guides on how to be efficient are almost mandatory to watch in order for you to feel like you can compete. MMOs are inherently competitive after all, and we all want to be the biggest neckbeard. But that in itself is part of the problem, right? It's a feedback loop that basically means no matter...
Hey, let's be real. How many of you on YouTube or in Twitch chat get stuck on a game now, instead of figuring it out or like trying and failing, you just immediately go to YouTube and find the answer? Which I think is just part of us being in this modern age, but at the same time, it does take away like that super fucking successful feeling of when you figure it out, or you come up with the build that works, or you figure out the puzzle, or you found out where to go, or whatever like that, the quest, and you figured out the quest and you get to tell your friends. Like, that was a different feeling I don't think you can recapture that. I don't think you'll be able to recapture that no matter how hard you try. And I feel as though if you try to design your game too much around recapturing that feeling, you'll probably end up hindering yourself more simply because Discord, YouTube, Twitch, like, the info is going to get out there. So I don't think you need to waste your time trying to recapture these feelings that I don't think we're going to be able to capture again. I mean, you got to think, 2006? Anybody in chat help me out here? Was it 6? 2006 for WoW? 2005? I don't know. But you're not going to be able to recapture that. The times have changed and we're just way different now.
What timeline or parallel universe we're in, meta guides will always exist simply because humans are competitive and lazy by nature. I think as time has gone by, in order to cater to that type of audience, MMOs have just slowly devolved to make the leveling experience a necessary evil and then giving the players the option to skip it entirely for the reasonable price of a full AAA game. To me, when you're giving players the option to skip a portion of your game, then why does that portion of your game even exist? You clearly failed at some point if you think your content is skip-worthy, right?
But Narc, I have 5 wives, 3 jobs, 9 dogs and a Lamborghini. I don't have time to play for more than 2 hours a week.
And you know, that's fair, but my point still stands. Maybe you should stop and ask yourself...
Sorry, I can't focus after his whiny ass, "I got a Lamborghini."
Why are you skipping the content? If the content is fun and satisfying, then why would people feel compelled to skip it? And this to me is the result of corporate degeneracy. It's all about creating the most cost-effective product possible, and that leads into boring gameplay that then gets supplemented by selling you a leveling skip so you can see the real content. The only game that really doesn't feel this way is probably Guild Wars 2, as its unique leveling process, being very exploration and dynamic event-based, genuinely tends to keep the discovery and want for more aspect of the world intact. You get that very Skyrim sense of, oh, what's that over there? And then before you know it, 3 hours
Did anybody
have gone
play
by
Guild
and
Wars
you're
2 in
literally
chat?
in
I
the
only played
pits
it
of
very
hell
little when it first came
surrounded
out.
by demons. Which leads me on to the topic at hand. I put Ashes of Creation in the title after all, so I have to talk about it for at least 2 seconds, right? That's how you avoid clickbait accusations according to YouTube TOS. So let's jump into that now.
I love the Peepo with the copium thing. Oh, Narc is next level, guys. I swear, if you don't follow him, it's just super entertaining. And he has good content. You know, it's just coated in memes and sarcasm, which is how we communicate. I think it's my love language.
So Stephen claims the leveling process to max level in Ashes of Creation should be attainable in 45 days, playing roughly 5-ish hours a day. Quite a bold claim to assume players won't power level in the first 3 days, but their claim does have some merit, as the world does kind of gate you in certain ways. For starters, the node stage will heavily affect the level of mobs in the local area, spawning new events and opening new quests for us to complete. This will likely mean player levels are kind of soft capped until nodes progress further. This is an interesting concept and one that I'm not sure we fully understand yet, as the node system is yet to be fully revealed. However, should we be soft gated by node progression, this means a couple of interesting things. First of all, how will the general player base feel about being somewhat time gated on their leveling? Being forced to grind low-level mobs whilst they wait for a node to progress to the next stage would not be too well received by the masses. However, it's important to remember that Ashes of Creation is not planning to be your traditional MMO at all. It is claiming to be a whole new genre in itself, after all, a sand park MMO. I interpret this to mean our personal level means very little in the grand scheme of things. Because this is a sandbox-esque world, it's the nodes themselves that govern the overall content in the world.
Now, I think that's great, because I think with the node system, to my understanding of it, I don't know if it's necessarily been this way in other games or where I'm drawing the inspiration from, but the node system kind of soft capping is kind of awesome, because that means that if a large group of players on your server in that area reach the quote-unquote soft cap, then now you have to work as a community, come together to get that node to level up, do events, what have you, that opens more content. So while I say like I'm a RP heavy guy, like the fact that, as Narc said, like your personal level could mean so little. The level of the node, which will then allow your personal level to rise and more content and more events, is really awesome because it really opens you up to really feeling like you're playing an MMO RPG. You know, recently, like he said in the earlier video, man, recently I felt like all my MMO RPGs are just MMOs. I'm not role playing shit. You know, we're trying to race to the end to be the biggest level this or the best this or the best that. So the node system, while it hasn't been fully explained yet, like just the idea that it could soft cap you, and then the player base as a whole in that area can come together as a community to advance the city, whether it be through professions or maybe it's through professions and through like monster killing and hunting, which would then get your hardcore like I want to kill shit and slash goblins. Get those players out, get the profession players going, the gathering players going, all to advance a node level. That would be really cool. I think that's a really cool aspect that it could open up.
I think we as a server community will be far more focused on actually progressing nodes more than progressing our personal levels.
Yes!
Instead, we will be gaining leveling experience from all kind of activities, very similar to Guild Wars 2, such as gathering, exploring, crafting, and of course, quests and events. So, just like with Guild Wars 2, we'll likely hit max level far before we've even finished exploring the world. And I must say, that is probably one of Guild Wars 2's biggest points, because the world really is diverse and interesting enough to compel me to explore it. With Ashes of Creation's node system dynamically spawning in the content and the insanely beautiful world, I am more than confident.
Wow, hey YouTube, real quick, I'm gonna pause this. So I got a Wizzy McNasty throwing some hot stuff in the chat. He said that during Alpha 1, even though the node system was seriously not finished, we were able to see how differently each server developed. So I think that is fucking awesome. Now there's gonna be this epic. Now what this will turn into is this toxic server versus server mentality probably once it's open to the mass public. But I think it'd be a lot of fun to like be on a server and you get to see it develop, and then friends or people you know on different servers will be like, oh yeah, well we unlocked this, or oh yeah, well we got this. Like I think it's really cool because then you're a part of your server. Opposed to being on a server and, oh, that's just where my friends are and the guild is, you know, then you're like, oh, I'm a part of that server. Man, we just, you know, 150 of us came down on this part and we advanced the node another level in this event and everything. And now I can, you know, log this special fucking tree now that grows because the goblins aren't carrying down all the logs or however it works. So that's really awesome to me as like a roleplay centered, but also as like somebody who wants an MMORPG to highlight the RPG aspect and feel like I'm playing with a group of people again, not just my friends, but maybe even make new digital friends. Like, I know that's like pie in the sky, maybe way too out there, that shit'll never happen. However, having somebody who was in Alpha 1, Wizzy McNasty, I just love saying the name, and saying that you could see different servers evolve at different standpoints, it's fucking dope.
Will be a memorable experience for us all. It's about time another team sat back and created a genuinely compelling world for us to explore. A world that makes us want to waste our lives away playing 18 hours a day. A world that triggers that sense of wonder and convinces us to neglect our real-life responsibilities to play it for that much longer. This, to me, is what MMOs lack in the modern age. They're treated like a chore to slog through more than a massively multiplayer online world. And even though the combat, the classes, the PvP, the group content, the naval content, the progression, the relics, the nodes, and well, basically everything is yet to be revealed to us, it's the world reveal that makes me most excited. But then again, maybe I'm just a boomer longing for a minute taste of the good old days once again. Buddy. But as usual, I am just one nerd, desperate for a good MMO. And my opinions mean nothing without yours in the comments below. And hey, considering you made it to the end of the video, I'll assume you enjoyed it. So why not give the video a like, because it really helps the channel to reach a new audience. The channel's been doing really well lately, despite my lack of uploads, so I promise I'll get back to a daily upload schedule very soon.
But no, I just want to speedrun and then get bored and quit the game.
I love it so much.
And to that I say, listen kid, if you think a genre that's designed to be a live service should cater to people that want to speedrun, then go back to New World, cause you're high on copium.
Swinging. Comes out swinging. Yeah, I mean, I'm there with him, right? Oh, great. This is a shit-ass ad that just pops up at the end of this video. I'm with him. You know, I really am. I don't want to hype it up too much. Like, I'm excited about the game. I'm excited about the systems. I mean, obviously, I'm making an entire YouTube channel about role-playing classes that I'm designing based on their lore. Like, obviously, I'm in, right? However, being burned so many times, and then can they deliver? I know they're trying, and they're doing a lot that makes me have faith that they'll deliver, but I don't want to get too excited and then burned again, and we're back where we started, right? So that video was dope. If you haven't actually gone to Narc's channel and watched some of his other videos, super entertaining. He does a great job. And if I would definitely go like the video now, simply because you're probably not going to see it until Asmongold reacts to it, and it has 1 million views. So have a good day.